Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. This is Around Town with the Laurel Board of Trade, where we shine a spotlight on the amazing local businesses and charitable organizations in our community. I'm your host, Mike Mondy, real estate consultant with Keller Realty Center, and I'm also one of the directors for the Laurel Board of Trade, coming to you today from Laurel TV's state-of-the-art studio inside the City of Laurel Municipal Building. Thank you for joining us today. Today's show is going to be all about Laurel's historic Main Street Festival, which is on Saturday, May 11th. And in order to do so, I'm here with Chairman Jim Cross and President Marilyn Johnson of the Laurel Board of Trade. Welcome and thanks for being with us.
Happy to be here. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. So Marilyn, let's have you start us off. What can you tell us about the history of the Laurel Board of Trade as a community organization?
Well, it started in 1980 as the Main Street Merchants Association, a bunch of businesses on Main Street, starting with Don Henyon from Citizens National Bank, Mr. Doherty, Jack Cook from Cook's Hardware, Fred Frederick, all got together. They formed this Main Street Merchants Association. And over the years, interest in being a part of it expanded beyond Main Street. For other businesses that were in Laurel at the time. And by 1994, the organization incorporated as the Laurel Board of Trade, Inc., and that has led us to where we are today.
Okay, great. So, Jim, now we'll start with you here. So we got the 43rd Annual Main Street Festival that is literally just around the corner. What can you tell us about the history and tradition of the Main Street Festival itself?
Okay, interestingly, the Laurel Amateur Radio Club got involved in 1980 with the first one, helping out, and helping volunteering and all that, and I'm a member of that. As part of the history, it's kind of interesting to me that way back in those days, a lot of stuff was done by mail. It wasn't done by computers and all of that, which we're doing nowadays. It's changed significantly. It's a lot of work. We have probably usually in the neighborhood of 200 to 300 vendors per year. We have food trucks. We have nonprofits, craft people. One of the reasons we've done this typically in the last few years with COVID and all that, it's been kind of a little crazy, but in the past, it's always been done the day before Mother's Day. And the reason is that now you can come to the festival and buy mom something for Mother's Day. One of the things that we've also really done this for is particularly for the merchants on Main Street. This gives people a chance to come and see what's on Main Street and visit what's on Main Street because they're walking. A lot of people get off the train, drive up Main Street, head home. That's, it's whatever, it's just another street. But now you can come out and see the merchants, see what they have, go in the shops, see them at their tables. It's a really good hands-on approach to promoting our Main Street merchants and other merchants in the Laurel area, because the Board of Trade has members not just on Main Street. We have them all over the place. So they get special rates on their spaces and that kind of thing as for being a member. So it's a plus for everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Jim, we're actually going to stick with you on the next question. So one of the highlights every single year is always the Main Street Festival Parade. Can you tell us what that parade is like and what's it like for Laurel Board of Trade to put that all together from a planning perspective?
Okay. So actually I started working with the people that were doing the parade. That's how I got involved originally with the Board of Trade. And in those, and that was back in the mid 2000s. So it was very interesting. We had to reach out to community groups all over. Now, we'd always keep a list of who was in the parade last year, reach out to them this year, try to get them in the parade and sign up. One of the toughest things for getting in the parade is the musical part, the bands. Used to be they would do it, but then come May, they've packed up their uniforms and the marching band isn't the marching band anymore. So Now we're a little shy on that. We used to have the West Laurel Ragtag Band, which was really cool. They would wander all over the place playing, wearing lampshades for hats and all kinds of things. It was fantastic. But then they've dissolved. So, but now my wife is doing the parade, and she reaches out. We have to not only get the people to agree to do it, then we have to get a little write-up from them to announce over the speaker system as they come by the judges stand. And that way, so then we get the write-ups, print them, put them together. Then we have to lay out what the order of the parade is, because there is a sort of an order that's sort of followed. And then once you've got the order, then you've assigned each of the participants their number in the space, put the number on the thing, print them out, put them in a binder, and give them to the announcer, who's going to announce as they go by the judges stand who it is, and a little blurb about who they are and what they do and why they're there and all that. It's a lot of work, and it runs right up to the last minute, basically.
And then there's the judges.
And then there's the judges, and we've reached out to judges, and we have the judges for the parade, because we give out trophies to the winners, like first, second, third place, that kind of thing. And the judges have to look at them, judge them, go back, sit down, work out, okay, who's number one, who's number two, who's going to get third place, all of that. And that's a whole thing. And the judges, we're reaching out and have reached out, thanks to Marilyn, to a number of local organizations, our nonprofits and things, to provide somebody to be the judge.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
It was the way we thought of, the Laurel Board of Trade is the host and organizing organization for the Main Street Festival, but we have so many of our members who participate in it, and there are so many nonprofits in our community that we partner with. So this is an opportunity, by asking them to send a representative of their organization to act as a judge for the parade. We get to introduce the person, their organization, and their organization bio, and kind of make people aware. So this year, we're very pleased that we have representatives coming from the Laurel Arts Council, the Laurel Museum, the American Legion, and sales with Sadija Smiley. And then the fifth judge, because you have to have an odd number of judges to break ties, is going to be a representative from Kaiser Permanente, who is our platinum sponsor this year for our new sponsorship program that we just started.
Wow, well, no wonder the parade is always just so amazing. So much goes into it.
Yeah,
it really
a lot.
does.
And we line them up. We also have to send out, okay, here's your space number. We've sent out a map of where your spaces are. And then we have the Amateur Radio Club people up there to help make sure everybody gets in their spaces. It's kind of interesting because you have large trucks that aren't in their space and blocking everything else. And you have to, there's a lot of things you have to do to get everybody to go down the street at the proper place in the proper space. So it's very interesting, and it's a lot of work.
Okay.
It's like Tetris on steroids.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Marilyn, let's stay with you here. This has been going on for 43 years now. How would you, just from a local community impact standpoint, how would you describe how this Main Street Festival has really been impacting the local community over the years?
So I first came to Laurel in 1989. So that was my first Main Street Festival. And I was just a citizen. I didn't belong to the Board of Trade. I didn't have a business yet. I had just moved here and I still had small kids. The kids loved it. And one of the things that I've noticed year after year after year, there are people in the Laurel community who this is like a red letter date on their calendars. Mm-hmm. And they look forward to it every year. They come every year. And now that my kids are grown and I have grandkids, I can walk along Main Street and bump into moms that I used to belong to the PTA with, 20 years ago, and kind of catch up with them. I might not see them otherwise. So it's an opportunity, like Jim said, the primary focus is to promote the businesses on Main Street and Laurel in general, to not only the Laurel community, but beyond it, but it's also, an opportunity to kind of, I don't know, just meet everybody, connect with everybody, see what's new, see who's come, who's gone. So people love it.
Yeah. Well, last question here is for both of you. Feel to chime in one or the other, or really both. What are your fondest memories of the Main Street Festival over the years?
Go ahead.
Okay, it varies. Okay, so before I was a member of the Board of Trade and became involved in planning it, it was just fun to kind of walk up and down the street. And I still treasure the caricature of my son Tommy that we had done, and just watching my kids enjoy themselves. And then, of course, the surprise of the Mother's Day gifts the next day. Now that I'm on the planning committee, I really like 5 o'clock when I can kind of say, wow, another one, another successful Main Street Festival. So, and I can relax for a few weeks before we start planning the next one.
And I guess I have to say my fondest thing is partly what she said, because we meet people that we haven't seen for a while wandering up and down the street. It's like, oh my golly, how are you doing? I haven't seen you. And that sort of thing. But it's also, for me, it's been very pleasurable working with a lot of different people every year, putting this thing together, getting it off the ground, and finally getting it closed, and get the street sweepers down the road. It's but working with a lot of the people has been probably my fondest memories. There's a lot of things that have gone on during the course of it that haven't been fond, but basically working with everybody has been wonderful, and it can't get better than that.
Yeah.
I do want to add one thing, though. We would not be able to put on the Main Street Festival without the concerted and consistent cooperation and coordination with the City of Laurel, Department of Public Works, Park and Rec, you name a department here in the city. And in one way or another, they are helping to support the Main Street Festival. And we really would not be able to do it to the extent, the degree, and the quality and safety and security that we have over the years without that support from the city. So please, kudos to everybody who works in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Jim and Marilyn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing with us about Main Street Festival and its truly, truly rich history. We thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up, we'll be talking with 2 more Laurel Board of Trade members, Nadol Hishmeh, owner of Olive on Main, and Tawana LaMar, logistics professional and owner of ELL Events.
Welcome to Laurel High School's senior courtyard. It looks a little dingy right now, but some students and teachers are trying to change that. Laurel High School counselor Dr. Tia Harris is leading the charge after she saw the courtyard needed to be fixed.
This area had been used for quite some time before, and it had just gone barren. Some people were coming out here to help and spruce it up a little bit, but not to where it was functional for the seniors.
For this story and more like it, check out youtube.com/LaurelTVOfficial.
And today I'm here with Nadol Hishmeh and Tawana LaMar. Nadol is a director with the Laurel Board of Trade and owner of Olive on Main, a true dining favorite among the locals here in Laurel. Tawana LaMar is a member of Laurel Board of Trade and an amazing logistics professional with ELL Events. Welcome, guys, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Our pleasure, Mike.
So, Nadol, we'll start with you. As a business owner located on Main Street itself, how would you describe the impact of Main Street Festival on the local community?
That's a good question. Well, there's 2 big impacts of Main Street Festival on the community. One is the business owners that are along Main Street themselves, and 2, to the community itself. So as business owners, I think a lot of people gravitated towards Main Street to open their businesses for that community effect, that community vibe. Okay. Just be able to be in a municipality that is big enough but small enough to have a business and grow in that business. So from that standpoint, it's good for us to have the festival because it breaks us out of our comfort zone. So it gives us, if you want to be in that community and you're doing it, you're doing the grind 12 months out the year, this is a day to kind of take a break, but not a break in our normal tradition of doing things and be involved in something a little different. The street's closed, the smell of funnel cakes in the air, kids are running up and down the street, you get to meet and interact with different families that you normally wouldn't see in your business on a regular basis. Well, depending on what your business is, obviously. And from the community aspect of it, you're a resident of this neighborhood, you may visit one or two of the local shops on the street, but now you get an opportunity to get the cones out and walk up and down the street. You know, I never noticed there was a nail salon right here. I never noticed that, oh, this person does do catering, or the florist is actually, you know, thriving or not. And it gives other people, other businesses, and other elements of Laurel or local businesses to come to Main Street, set up their shop, food vendors or churches or different things like that, to kind of advertise themselves as well. And it ties us all back in together as one. So that's why the Board of Trade is really important on that aspect, is we're pulling all these different vendors in together and pulling all these different companies together and getting them all in one place, and I guess enjoy the day. Get some food, play a kids activity, walk up and down, pick up a Mother's Day gift, you know, because it's that weekend. So just kind of sheds light on that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And Tawana, as somebody who understands event planning on a really high level, how have you been able to help the Laurel Board of Trade improve this year's Main Street Festival?
Yes, so this year being the 43rd year annual event, I actually came in and started working with them the first week of March. And so I just tried to, as they say, sprinkle a little, you know, newness in there, maybe try to increase things like, you know, I know they talked about the kids zone and how we really wanted to, you know, up the, as they say, up the ante on that. And so we actually have partnered with a local vendor who provides, you know, that type of activity for kids and so, and adults. So this year there's going to be a lot more activities for the big kids that look like you and I, and for our little ones. Also, you know, with the planning, I think, and, you know, we'll touch on a little of this, we did something this year in that area of sponsorship. And so, you know, from a planning perspective, I kind of came in and I kind of came, might say full throttle. I was moving fast because I knew I had a short window of time. But I think this year, you know, in terms of the entertainment that will be, you know, part of the festival this year, they'll see an uptick in that. And so I'm just excited to be a part of what's happening this year and being a part of the Laurel Board of Trade.
Great. Well, Tawana, I'm actually going to stick with you. So if a business owner is interested in becoming a sponsor, or someone wants to become a volunteer in the festival, what do they need to know, and how can they get involved?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to talk about the volunteer piece because we really need folks to get involved. On the Laurel Board of Trade website, if you go there and you go to the Main Street Festival, there is a sign-up portal for volunteers. And let me just say, we want volunteers of all ages because there is something for everyone to do and help with. Historically, this festival has been put together and been executed by a very, 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 one more very small village. This year, we understand the impact of what the festival does. It is a huge undertaking. So we need volunteers, so please sign up. High school students, college students, fraternities, sororities. We need folks to sign up and get involved and help with this festival. Again, go to the laurelboardoftrade.org and you will find under the Main Street Festival the volunteer opportunities. Now, we'll talk a little bit about the sponsorship that you asked about. So this year, we actually did reach out and started talking to different organizations, started talking to Laurel Board of Trade members, the opportunity to sponsor. Now, people always tend to think, oh, sponsorship, that means, you know, I'm giving money, I'm you know, and I go, Yes, but look at it like this. For sponsorship opportunities, it's an investment in an organization that has an impact on community. And so this year we have been able to secure sponsorship. Our platinum sponsor, Kaiser Permanente. We have sponsorship from Care First. We have sponsorships from Cleopatra Winery and Vineyard, which is a local business, which is also a member of Laurel Board of Trade, so thank you, as well as Ginger Roots. And we have several other in-kind sponsors. So there are opportunities that are there. Now, I will be very honest, we are basically at the window and the door is literally closed. However, there are opportunities for Main Street Festival 2025. So we will be looking out for folks to, come on board and join us. And let me just say this, Kaiser Permanente was someone that reached out to me. So that speaks volume about what this Main Street Festival means, not just to community, but to organizations that are out there who want to make certain that they are part of what is happening in Laurel.
Wow, that's great. And Nadol, I hear that this year there are going to be new attractions for the younger kids. What can you tell us about that as far as it pertains to this year's festival?
I think Tawana touched on that for a second in answering the first question. So this year, I have young kids, right? So we've been on Main Street for 10 years. So my kids have witnessed this festival year in, year out. And it's been great. But one thing that I've noticed over the years is the attractions became less and less, and it became more of just walking up and down the street. The intention was to keep families on the street. That way you can get something to eat, you could take a break, play an activity, do something else, and you're not in and out. You're spending that's your day. You spend the duration of your day there, or at least a few hours there. So with the intention of the kids' activities, we decided to bring in moon bounces, more face painters. We've had a lot of in-kind with the sponsorships. That was another big thing, is bringing in-kind kids' activities where they're providing their time. We're allowing them to have a space, and they're providing us with interactive art projects and kids' activities. Like I said, the moon bounces, the face painting. I think one of the young ladies is going to do make your own stickers, glitter, things like that. We have a caricature artist coming in for free. Get in line, get a cartoon, mock-up of yourself, and just make a day out of it. I mean, if you look at fairs back in the day, or whatever you want to call it, there's balloons, there's this, that, and you just have that image. Bring some of that back in. It's a family day.
Yeah, well, Tawana and Nadol, just thank you so much for sharing with us today about what you're bringing to Main Street Festival and everything that you shared. It was really, really great. We thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you
Mike,
for having
we really
us.
appreciate your time, and Mike being a director as well and running his own real estate division. It's really important to have you on here as well, and we thank you for everything you do as well.
Yes, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us today. And if you have a business and would like to be featured, reach out to us. We would love to learn more and shine the spotlight on you. Send us a message on Facebook or go to our website, laurelboardoftrade.org. Also on our website, you can learn more about the Laurel Board of Trade and all the benefits and many events that we sponsor, including Main Street Festival. We also invite you to join us for business networking every third Thursday of the month, online virtually, and in person once per quarter at one of our member businesses right here in Laurel. We have a powerful mix of business leaders and can help you expand your network. Well, that's a wrap for the Laurel Board of Trade. Our tagline is small business, big ideas. Remember, everybody, get out there and shop local. See you next time.